Because it's cathartic, it's therapeutic to just, we're killing it. Yes, everything is fine.
Yeah.
Or there is a lot of pressure to fit in. As at school, at university, at company, in your social circle, it's so much easier to fit in as opposed to standing your ground and discovering what you really think and what you really believe. About maybe 2 years, 2.5 years ago, it was the end of my first year as a CEO. I was very new to the job. I had no real idea of what I'm supposed to do as a CEO, which made it much more stressful. And I felt like my to-do list was endless. I didn't know what I should say yes to and what I should say no to. I was overwhelmed. I didn't know how to look for support. And at some point I reached out to a therapist I knew from many years ago and said, look, I think I need professional help. I need to talk to someone because I don't understand what's happening. And she said that it looks like you're mildly depressed, but probably not the end of the world. Give it time, take care of yourself. We had a few follow-up sessions. And that was the first time that somebody told me that, hey, you're mildly depressed. Up until then, I thought that, yes, depression exists, but it kind of exists in other people. For me, the two biggest symptoms were inability to stop worrying or thinking or doing, just constantly being in an overdrive mode, like I'm constantly drinking coffee and I can't stop, and it makes me move and talk and think, and that's the anxious side of it. It's a fairly unpleasant state and I really didn't like it, and basically I couldn't relax. On the depressive side, it feels like I'm disconnected from the world. Nobody really understands me. I don't know who to talk to, how to ask for help, and nobody cares anyway, so why don't I go and commit suicide anyway, because it's not worth it. So that's kind of the depressive side of things. I didn't know that what was happening was not normal. I didn't know where the line is between being in a low mood, because all of us are at times, and it being a problem of medical attention. I got to the point when I realized that something is really wrong in the way I see and experience the world, and I'm struggling even to describe it. Back then I had no vocabulary to describe it at all. I was talking about not enjoying things anymore, being constantly worried, but not about something specific, but just being worried in general. About being angry at absolutely everything and not being able to sit still, and sometimes not being able to get out of bed without really explaining why. So I was just struggling to explain it. And I was a first year CEO. I didn't even know if it's okay for a CEO to be open about their mental health issue, or I'm supposed to be a hero which never has any problems at all and always has an answer to all questions. I guess my own experience helped me to see the world in a richer way, in a more nuanced way, in a sense. I think I became more adept at understanding my own emotional state and the drivers behind my decisions and my behaviors. But it also helps me to accept what's happening. Controlling myself or the world in general is one part of the situation, but I think over the years I became more accepting of what's happening. Just learning to accept the reality as it is instead of trying to make sure that the world works exactly as I want it to work. Mental health is difficult to quantify, but I think I'm learning to draw the line between what's happening and my own perception of it. Yes, pain happens to all of us, but how we suffer because of it is up to us, how much we suffer. And I think I'm learning to draw the line between these two things.